Hi ladies. I was conscious last night as I was getting towards the end of the seminar that I looked over and saw the clock, saw that I was running over time and started to use my notes less and less. There are a few annotations that I missed last night that I really want to get over to you. Most of it I did cover, but there are some bits. My main objective, obviously as you know, was to give you as much information as possible to empower you to make changes that are going to give you the best health for moving through the menopause transition in your life and beyond. And so it doesn't sit right with me if I've not passed over that information to you. So I'm going to record this short video just so that you've got all the information that I planned to give you last night, some of it of which I didn't. One of the things we spoke about in the lifestyle changes that you can make that are not related to your diet, when we spoke about exercise, anti-aging, lifestyle patterns, we spoke about sleep. And we talked about the effect that sleep deprivation can have on your body. But what I didn't cover were some of the things that you can do to improve your sleep. And that's important to me as well. I always want to show you why something happens or the way things work. But I also want to then tell you, as we did on most of the slides, what can you do about it? Because otherwise you just get a lot of overwhelm because you get a lot of information of things that are happening, but there's nothing you can do about it. It's really key to me that you get the ability to do something about it. So in terms of things that will improve your sleep, one of the key things is a sleep routine, which we tend to use for our children and babies when they're very small. And that actually tends to stick with children until they get, quite old. But then as adults, we tend to lose a routine. And having a sleep routine can make a big difference to your ability to drop off to sleep and then the quality of sleep when you get it. So whether that be lights down for a while or telly off for a while or going up at a certain time and having like a cut off at 9 or 10 o'clock or whatever it is, that right, okay, this is where we start to wind down, everyone goes upstairs, we've got the teeth brushing, all of that kind of thing. Having a routine can make a real difference. Regular exercise can hugely improve the quality of sleep. A lot of ladies that come to me do not come to Fit Mums to improve the quality of their sleep, but a hell of a lot of them notice it as a positive side effect of getting fitter and exercising regularly. The amount of people that say to me, wow, I'm sleeping so much better since I've been exercising. So we've listed a whole host of benefits from exercise generally, but don't think that sleep quality enhancement isn't one of those as well. You must remember that. Stimulant restriction, we spoke about caffeine in different foods and drinks that you can have. And especially if you are caffeine sensitive, having those in the afternoon or evening can really affect your ability to get off to sleep and then the quality of it throughout the night. So make sure, firstly, you're reducing your stimulants. We spoke about the benefits of that, especially if you're experiencing hot flushes and things. But also, if you are having them, that you're having them kind of north of lunchtime in the morning, and they're not interrupting your sleep later on by having them kind of in the afternoon or evening. Avoiding one of the kind of more recent phenomenon in terms of affecting our sleep is our addiction to things like phones, tablets, PCs, laptops. And especially when we're doing work with these, or we're reading, or we're on Facebook or whatever, into the evening, the light that these devices give off is stimulating the back of the retina in a way that is not promoting sleep. It's doing quite the opposite. So reducing the amount of time you spend on these as you get nearer bedtime is really, really key. So try and have some kind of devices off time in that hour or so before you actually go to sleep, so that the back of the retina isn't stimulated. In the same way with the telly as well, that kind of artificial light, you want as little of it as possible just before you go to sleep. And then there's the obvious things like making sure your bed and your bedroom are comfy, there aren't any drafts, you've got the right temperature, you haven't got any lights coming through from street lights, or when the mornings get lighter earlier on, you're not being woken up at 4 o'clock in the morning by the sun when we're into the summer. Things like that you can put into place so that the room is kept dark, in the same way that these electrical devices are stimulating the back of our retina, causing us to wake up. So does natural light. So you bear that in mind too. There are also essential oils that are proven to help with sleep, things like lavender, chamomile, bergamot, marjoram, those kind of things. So having baths with those in, or Having some spray mist on your pillow, that kind of thing can help. Sex is a great one as well. When we have an orgasm, we release a hormone called oxytocin, and that is a great hormone for helping you go to sleep afterwards. We joke about partners rolling over and snoring after we've had sex, but there's a scientific reason for that, and having an orgasm and the oxytocin surge that comes with that is an absolutely wonderful sleep enhancer. Okay, removing alcohol before, sometimes you can be tempted to have a glass of wine or something to relax you, but the quality of sleep you get after alcohol is not as good as the quality of sleep you get without it, so be wary of that. Magnesium as well, we've spoken quite a lot about getting magnesium in the diet, and it was one of my basal health supplements. Having that with your evening meal can promote sleep too, and getting foods with tryptophan in them when tryptophan's needed to make serotonin, which is again needed for sleep. Tryptophan containing foods, you might want to consider, evening meals with things like turkey, fish are big tryptophan containers, whole grains, beans, those chickpeas and soya beans that we spoke about before again, almonds, peanuts, eggs, bananas and dates are all examples of foods that contain tryptophan. Okay, so I think that should give you a few tips on the sleep side of things. We didn't, when we spoke about heart disease, talk about cholesterol and its link to heart disease. And I just wanted to make it very clear how I stand on statins and cholesterol in terms of women's health again. I am a firm, absolute believer that cholesterol is not linked with heart disease, as you'll find a lot of people are these days. I do believe that GPs prescribe statins far too easily when there is no clear evidence that cholesterol causes heart disease. You can see again and again data with populations of varying cholesterol levels with heart disease rates that have no link whatsoever to their cholesterol level. There is as much evidence that people with high cholesterol have heart disease as there are people with low cholesterol have heart disease. Cholesterol is an anti-inflammatory agent, and it will go to parts of the body where inflammation is. And that's the reason that cholesterol has been kind of put in prison for giving us heart disease, because it's going to the parts of the area often around the heart when a heart attack has happened, because it's trying to help. It's not the cholesterol that's caused the heart attack in the first place. It's going there to try and help the situation. It's inflammation that is causing the heart disease in the first place. So again, well, from a statins perspective, if you have a high cholesterol level and your doctor is wanting to put you on statins, for goodness sake, talk to them seriously about it. I would not go on statins if my doctor was prescribing them to me, period. So for goodness sake, don't just accept that as a given and go on statins. Do some research about it. Talk to me offline if you want to. What we do need to do to help our heart disease risk is to reduce inflammation. And we've spoken about some of those. Stress is a huge factor in heart disease. We spoke about some stress management techniques. B vitamins are really important in reducing inflammation. A healthy gut, so those probiotics that I spoke about, your vitamin D, and of course your omega-3. One of those essential fatty acids in the omega-3 we spoke about is key in heart health and in your general circulatory system health. For that very reason. So for goodness sake, make sure you're taking those omega-3s. And then I didn't give you some alternatives to calcium sources other than dairy. We spoke about some of the reasons why you might be wanting to have less dairy in your diet as we get older. And I didn't give you some alternatives of where to get your calcium from. So we have things like almonds. Almond milk is the easiest thing on the planet to make. Beans and legumes, broccoli, brown rice, cabbage, eggs, figs, hazelnuts, quinoa, sardines with the bones, greens, seeds, walnuts, soya milk. There are tons of sources of calcium. You do not necessarily need to get all of your calcium from dairy. Okay, and the last note on breast cancer, because that's what we're talking about on the dairy side. There have been some links to dairy and breast cancer, the conclusivity of which is a bit sketchy, but for various reasons, reducing the amount of dairy that you have in your diet as you get older could be a wise thing to do. But as we're talking about breast health as well and talking about the alternatives to to calcium from your diet other than dairy, one thing I didn't fail to mention to say, which is really important, is for goodness self, check yourself regularly as far as breast health is concerned, and go to mammograms. I think from the age of 50 up to 70, I believe it is, we get a free 3 yearly mammogram. Make sure you go and you have your mammograms when they are offered to you. And in between, because 3 years is a long time in between, check yourself regularly. I hear anecdotally of people all around me who know someone who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. We can do a lot in terms of treatment and prognosis of ourselves if we catch any lumps and bumps early. So get to know your breasts, know what they feel like, and check yourself regularly for any abnormalities. If you notice anything that's untoward, obviously go to your GP. So just wanted to get those points over. I hope you found that helpful. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. If you want to ask me anything specifically, my email address is karen@fitmumshartford.co.uk. Get in touch, and I'll be happy to either give you an answer if I know the answer, or get an answer for you and get back in touch. All right, speak to you soon. Bye.